Perfect. Awesome. Welcome to our 21-day holiday survival challenge. I am so excited you're here. I'm really excited because there are a lot of new people for me, to me, and I am excited about that. So one, welcome. And I just wanted to kind of give a quick just intro of myself. So I am Andrea. I am a nutritional, an NTP, nutritional therapy practitioner. I am a certified nutrition coach. I just lost you guys again. Sorry. We're trying to navigate way too many screens here. I am a personal trainer, and I am also a junior high math and PE teacher. So clearly I have my hands full, but I wouldn't have it any other way. My passion obviously is in nutrition and fitness. It has been for a long time. And really my goal, just entering this space of, health and wellness in general is really just to kind of help people sift through the noise. There's a lot of information out there. And it's confusing. I found myself very confused for a long time. What do you believe? What works? What doesn't work? Right. And so my goal is to simplify that for people, help people create sustainable, flexible ways to reach their goals, right? It really shouldn't be that difficult. And there's two main things that I really want for everybody. And there are the things that I hear people want the most. And number one is health. People want to reclaim their health. They want to be healthier. And they want confidence. They want to feel comfortable in their skin, and I hear that quite often from people when I talk to them. And so that's what I want to give you, right? And the ability to use nutrition to get those things, to improve your health, improve your confidence, feel better in your skin, right? And not be so confused by all the noise that's out there. So that's really my main mission and goal in everything that I do here. Now, as far as this challenge itself, the purpose really was to help kind of bridge the gap, right? This time between like Thanksgiving and Christmas is kind of weird. During this time, like things kind of go haywire, right? This is a lot going on, right? We've got obviously events, we've got tons of food, we've got stress from work, from family, right? And it kind of creates this perfect storm where things tend to go, like I said, haywire, right? And I see two different things kind of happen here. People either have this like anything goes mentality, or they start like doubling down on restriction, right? And kind of make themselves miserable during this time, right? And either one, whether you are going down a deep hole of like pies and cookies and all that good stuff, or you're trying to like white knuckle your way through the holidays, this really sets us farther and farther away from our goals, right? And it really robs us of what this time should be about, right? This time, from Thanksgiving to New Year's, this should be about memories. It should be about family, about connection, right? Not about worrying about whether like I should have gravy or not gravy, or should I enjoy my aunt's homemade pie, right? That's not really what I want people focusing on during this time, right? And so instead, what I want to do is give you the gift of using this time to your benefit, setting down a foundation where if weight loss is something you want in the new year, that we get you closer to that rather than farther from that, right? And I do that, if you followed my work for any time now, you know that I use the periodization model, right? And I always like to talk to people in terms of like analogy. So I love comparing it to like an athlete, right? A high level athlete. We know they go through seasons throughout the year. They're not playing at the highest level all the time. They can't. That's absurd, right? They go through their season and then a postseason and then an off season and then a preseason. And they kind of cycle through all of that in order for them to perform at their best while they are in season, right? And so we should approach our nutrition in the same way, right? Just like if now I do like to exercise and, move, but I'm not an avid runner. In fact, I wouldn't even consider myself a recreational runner. And yet if I were to say like, hey, I want to run a marathon. And in fact, I'm going to do that this weekend. I don't think anybody would think that that's a good idea. I don't think that Anyone would think that I was going to be performing at my best, right? I'm not even a recreational runner, right? And we would understand like I'm not physically prepared for that, and I'm not mentally prepared for those rigors, right? And yet I think that I'm going to perform well. No, I'm not. Right? I'm not going to get my best out of this. And so this is kind of what's missing in the nutrition world, is that people just want to go straight to diet, right? Without any foundation, without any understanding of how to prepare themselves, right? How to prepare themselves physically, because you do need to be physically ready to take on the rigors of a diet. You need to be mentally ready, right? Do you have the skills for making that diet phase last, make it effective, right? Or are you just jumping in like, I'm going to start on Monday. I'm going to eat salads. I'm going to no more cookies, no more baked goods. I'm going to cook all my meals at home. Like, are you really prepared to do that? And have that be actually effective, right? And so this idea of nutritional periodization really is something that I base all of my work on, and helping people actually get the most out of whatever body composition goal that you want. So when I put this together, what I want to do is kind of start building that foundation, start walking you through some of those first steps that I do with my clients, right? Because you can ask anybody who's worked with me. I have not yet had anybody who is ready to enter a diet as soon as they started working with me, right? We had to lay that groundwork. So that's what I want to start with you guys is, let's actually use this time where, yeah, there's going to be food and events and all kinds of things in this space of time that we could actually use to our advantage to set ourselves up, right, for a much better and effective, enjoyable process down the line. So I don't know about you, but I'm super excited about these 21 days. But if you are here, number one, like I want to say congratulations on like taking that step, right? You're taking action by signing up for this challenge to give yourself the knowledge, arm yourself with strategies to get through this time, right? Second, you showed up to the live, right? Right. So you're investing even your time in, making this a priority, right? But let's be honest. 21 days, while is a good amount of time, it's probably not enough time to do all the work that needs to be done, right? And so I said, like, if you guys came to this kickoff call, I wanted to, there would be a special offer, right? And so what I want to say is that while I am super excited about these 21 days, I know that for most people, we're going to need more time and probably guidance. And so what I wanted to do is give you guys a special offer, right? This offer is not going out to anybody else. I am not making this public. It's not on any of my platforms. It's only for you guys here because you're taking action, right? You're here, you've shown up, right? And so I want to offer you a free month of coaching with me, just for being here, for signing up, and for actually taking the time to be here and make this a priority, right? And learn, right? And so here's what I got. This is a very limited time offer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my number actually here in the chat, and I want you to text me if you are interested in actually working with me for free for 1 month, and we'll get you all set up afterwards. So I'm going to put that in right now. Boom. That should be in the chat. All right. So you've got a few minutes. If you want to take advantage of that, like I said, this isn't going out anywhere else. I'm not making this public. I don't take people on for free very often. So this is just for you guys. If you are interested, text me right now. I'm in, and I'm going to get you guys set up. I'm now going to go quickly grab some water so you guys can think about that. Commit to that, and then we're going to jump head into our training. All right, so is the number there? I think. Perfect. Go ahead, guys, text me. I'm in. If you're interested, I'm going to grab some water, and then we're going to jump fully into this training. All right, I'll see you in a minute. All right. All right. The texts are coming in. I'm super excited. Woo. Like I said, I love helping people. That is my mission. But quite honestly, the biggest thing that really impedes success when I work with people is commitment, right? And so this is why I wanted to offer it to you guys, because you've already shown commitment in terms of like being here and showing up. So I am super, super excited. I will be getting to all of you guys who texted me right after the training, and we'll start setting things up. Okay. All right. Let's dive into the meat and potatoes here. Nice pun, right? Of our training. So hopefully I've sent you guys 2 emails, one to just welcome you, and then the other one to kind of start preparing you. So you have like an idea of what we'll be kind of going over for the next 3 weeks. Now, we're going to go ahead and, sorry, I'm still getting texts in here. Each week there's going to be a topic that I'm going to be addressing, and then we're going to have some action steps. So I want to just kind of briefly go through like what you guys should expect for this challenge. So number 1, every Monday, we're going to have our live training just like this, and we're going to have a topic that we're going to address. And then you're going to have some action steps, because I firmly believe, I mean, I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for over 20 years, that while it's great, I'm super happy you're here and I'm going to, give you a ton of information, but learning doesn't happen until we actually do, right? And so that's why I want to give you some action steps. Now, some of this might be a little uncomfortable. It might be new for some of you, but I encourage you guys to just jump in, make mistakes. That's the best way to learn, and just try out what I have for you guys. Now, what I did do was I created a tracker for you, because we're going to have a winner, right? In fact, there's a $500 cash prize on the line here. Now, I'm just not going to hand that out to anybody, right? So you're going to get a tracker to help keep track of your assignments, and just so that you can keep track of like what it is that you should be doing. And then you can keep track of your points. Okay. So you're going to have a really cool tracker. In fact, let me see if I can pull that up so I can kind of show you, and then you can kind of get an idea of what you will be doing over the next 3 weeks, should you take on the challenge. So let me share my screen. All right, so did I lose it? Here we go. All right, so here's your tracker. Now you're going to get an email immediately after the this live that has everything that I'm going to go over today ready to go for you. You'll have links, and you will have access to all of this. So here is your challenge tracker. It's going to help you keep track of what you should be doing, obviously, and keep you motivated. Literally, research shows that actually, as you like check something off a list, so let's say like you guys are all here, you get to check that off. You attended the kickoff call. There's literally a dopamine hit from just checking that off. So this tracker is also a way to just help you stay engaged, and then help you just feel like you can see your actual progress through the weeks. Now, here's the tracker. Here's what it looks like. Each week you're going to have, again, your activities for you to do, and you're going to get points for everything that you do. This tracker is going to actually count up all those points, and you'll get a grand total. So our winner, obviously, number 1 is going to have the most points. They will have been the most active and participated. And then the second piece is just I'm looking for just like a mental transformation, right? This isn't necessarily about physical transformation in these 21 days, but we're setting ourselves up for that physical transformation, right? And so I'm going to look for, yes, who got the most points, but who also made like that the biggest transformation mentally in terms of just committing and shifting, how they view nutrition and exercise, and all of that good stuff. So you're going to have a tracker. You have things that you'll be doing each week. The other part is I want you guys engaged in the Facebook group, because we know also that when we do this in community, our success skyrockets, right? And it skyrockets for those around us as well, right? As we see other people succeeding and doing those things, it helps us feel more confident, like I can do that as well. So you'll see some of your points are going to come from just posting in Facebook, commenting on other people's posts, because that is incredibly helpful in pushing all of us forward, right? We want to push everybody to succeed during this time. So number one, we're going to be tracking, and you'll have your homework to do each week. Okay, next, let me grab my other notes here. I lost it. There it is. You'll see exactly what we're going to be doing, and then we're going to address a topic. So, all right, let's kind of dig into where we're going to be going for this week specifically. So if you're a client of mine, I know some of my one-on-ones are here, which I'm super excited about. You'll know that one of the very first things that we do is we have to bring awareness to where we're currently at, right? I mean, sure, I can go ahead and create a protocol for you, but that's really hard to do if I know nothing about where we're starting from, right? Any goal is going to require you to understand your starting point, right? And so I titled this week, how much should I be eating, right? For some of us, we don't even have that awareness yet, and that's okay. Nobody has probably taught you how to do that, right? And so we're going to spend this week figuring that out. So there's two things I want to do. I want to just bring awareness to where you're currently at, and I want to show you where you should be, right? Because my guess is if you're here, there's a gap between what should be happening and what is happening. So this week is all about creating that awareness, and doing that in a way that gives us information that we can then use to build our protocol or build our next steps from. Okay, so one of those ways. Now there's a ton. Like, when you're a one-on-one client, you're going to get an in-depth intake where we're going to dive deep into, what you bring to the table to help me go ahead and create that protocol. But one way and one specific thing that is incredibly helpful is to look at a possible calorie gap. Now, one of our first trainings that we did here in the group was, and we went over this idea of a calorie gap, right? So what is that? Because we're going to assess it this week. So calorie gap exists in two ways. Everybody has a certain amount, and it's a range of energy they need coming in just to sustain themselves currently where they're at. Okay, so let's just call that the baseline, right? And then there's what we actually do in reality, right? So let's say your needs are 2,000 calories. I'm just going to keep this very vague. But you're intaking, let's say 1,400, right? So there's a gap there between what you need and what you're bringing in, right? So there's that type of calorie gap. And in fact, that's the most common one I see, is people coming in, eating way below what is actually necessary for them to be functioning properly, right? And then that gap can happen in the other direction, where we are overeating for our energy needs, right? Now, what's really interesting there is that we've got our couch potato who is overeating and under-exercising. And then we have our chronic dieter who is under-eating and over-exercising, right? Both creating this gap, both creating immense stress on the system, and both getting the same results. Both can't lose weight. Both have terrible energy. Both have hunger and craving issues. Very, very fascinating that both scenarios are really kind of producing the same result, right? And the problem really is just the stress. The body is then stressed out because either too much energy is coming in or not enough. And so the body has to then adjust for that intake. This is where things start to go haywire because the body is trying to make up for where that gap that's happening, right? So what we want to do is create awareness. What is our calorie gap? And then second, well, where should we be, right? And then we can go ahead and start creating our next steps. Okay, so what I want for us to do first, this is going to be your first homework assignment, is you're going to find your estimated expected maintenance calories, meaning how much should you be eating? So notice there's two words there that are really important. The first one being estimated. I don't want you to get really stuck on this number that we're going to calculate right now. It is a range, and it's not going to always be spot on, right? We're just going to look at it as it's going to give us a really good ballpark of where we should be. Okay, so just don't get stuck on these numbers. That's not necessary. But it's going to at least start giving us direction. Where should we be, right? And then the other word I used there was expected maintenance, which is interesting, right? So we have an estimated expected maintenance. And that's because, let's say you are chronically under eating. Well, your maintenance might actually be lower than what we expect, because the body has adapted to this little bit of energy that's coming in. So let me go back to my example of maybe 2000 calories is your expected maintenance, but because you've been eating, what did I say, like 1400 calories, that has now become your new maintenance. The body has been like, well, I got to ramp things down because this is all we're getting. And so we can't allow her to go ahead and function at 100%, because otherwise we'd be expending way too much energy. And the end of that sentence is we don't survive, right? And so you may find that your actual maintenance is not your expected maintenance. And so that's something that we need to assess as well, right? So I'm going to show you very simply how we can get a ballpark, again, estimation of what your expected maintenance should be. Now, I will say that it can also happen in the other way. If you are very lean and you have a lot of lean body mass, meaning you have spent time putting muscle on, then your expected maintenance might actually be, or your true maintenance might be above what this calculator will give you, right? And so that's a great problem to have. But I'm going to assume most people are not in that ballpark, right, if you're here for this challenge. So let me share my screen again. See. This always takes a moment. Here we go. Okay, and again, I will be sharing all of these links. All of this will be in the email for you in one place, which will be nice so that you can always come back to it. So this is just a simple calculator that's online. There is nothing special about this one. I do find it to be fairly accurate. A lot of that is because of the actual equations that it uses. Doesn't matter. This is the one we're all going to use. All right, so you're just going to go ahead and put in your stats. So I'm going to go ahead and put in, for me, I'm 43. I'm averaging about 129. I'm 5'8". I am a moderate exerciser. I do know my body fat percentage. I'm going to put that in. If you don't know it, it's okay. You don't have to put that in. It's optional there. Great. So we see here, these are my estimated maintenance calories based on the information I just put in there. I could tell you this is actually pretty accurate. I have tested it. And if I eat approximately 2100 calories a day, I will maintain my weight at this level. Okay. Now, what's nice is over here, you have that range. So if you're kind of not sure, like, am I lightly exercising, moderately heavy, you can kind of see what it would come out if you actually chose those. If you're unsure, take an average. Most of you guys are probably somewhere between light exercise and moderate exercise. And so you could take an average. Let's say for me, that would be between 18 and 2100, like 1950 would be a good average to put in there. Okay. This is what we would expect for my maintenance to be. Again, it may not actually be your maintenance, because if you have been, let's say, under eating, or you're super stressed, or, you just are over exercising, well, you may have created an adaptation that is not allowing this to be your true maintenance. Okay. So number one, you're going to find your expected maintenance. Okay. And then what we're going to do, is we're going to actually figure out what you're taking in right now, right? So we're looking at two different things. What should we expect you to be able to eat? And then what are you currently eating? All right. So I am going to pull this up here. So this is something that I do actually with all of my clients, is we take a whole week to determine, well, where are they? Where is their current intake? Because without that, it's hard for me to then say, hey, this is what we should do going forward. So this is where it might be a little uncomfortable for some of you, but I highly encourage you to try one of the options that I'm going to give you. So one of the most accurate ways is to track. So I have in the email that's going to come, I have an app that I recommend that you use. I have a very short video, how to get in there, how to set it up. I have a video on just the basics of how to track. I even have another video where I give you some tips and tricks, how I make it as easy as possible. So I have you all set up if you are willing to give that a go, because that's going to give you the most data for us to get the most out of this. Now, if you're not comfortable doing that, that's okay. You don't have to actually track. You can take pictures, because I guarantee you taking pictures of everything you eat for 1 week is going to be incredibly eye-opening. Remember, this whole week is about awareness. Where are we? What is our current situation? And let me be honest that most people come into it and they'll have conversations with me and they'll tell me, oh, Andrea, I eat out maybe once or twice a week. I have a beer here and there, and I don't really eat that poorly. And then I tell them, great, okay, let's just take a week to really look at what we're doing. And I ask people, don't change anything, right? Warts and all, put it in there. The beer, the candy, the bagels, the muffins, the cookies, all of it. We have to get an accurate reading of where we're starting from, because we're looking at two things really. Quantity, right? Are we under eating or are we overeating? And then two, quality. What's the quality of the diet, right? And I guarantee you, like almost every client comes back to me and they're like, oh my God, I had no idea. I'm actually eating out like 4 times a week. There's hardly a vegetable in sight. Drinking more than I thought, right? We just tend to forget, and we don't really quantify all of our habits, right? So I want this to be a time where I don't want you to judge what you find. I want you to just go in with an open mind to just learn about yourself. What are the things that you're kind of just doing unconsciously? What is it that you kind of have on autopilot that you don't even really make the decision to do? And when you look at it over time, you can realize, oh, now I see why I'm wearing that, right? So we're going to take, ideally, I would say a week, 7 days, and you're just going to track where you currently are. Now, if you can't commit to that, I would say at the very least 3 days, if not like 3 to 5, I would say could be still very, very insightful. Here's the trick. If you're not going to do a full 7 days, you're going to make sure you include not only weekdays, but weekends, because I guarantee you eat differently on the weekend than you do during the week. I do. I mean, it's just completely different. I'm in a different routine. I'm in a different place. I'm not at work. I'm not on like a schedule where I have to eat at certain times. And so my eating patterns change as well. So if you're not going to do the full 7 days, then I want you to do at least 3, if not 5, and make sure you include a weekday and weekend so you can see the difference. The other thing I tend to see is people's eating in the beginning of the week is very different than the end of the week. Like what you're eating Monday, Tuesday probably looks really different than Thursday, Friday. So it's really fascinating for you to just take a really good look at, where am I? And, like, what is it that is really happening in terms of, your nutrition itself. So that is your second homework, I guess we should say, for this week, is going ahead and tracking for this week. And then next week, what we're going to do is we're going to take that information and now answer the question, okay, how do I get through the holidays while still eating the foods I want to, right? But not taking myself so far away, right? Because there is a way to actually enjoy. Now, I am not saying by any means eat whatever you want. That's a lie, right? But with this knowledge, we can start making adjustments to say, hey, here's where I'm at. Here's my calorie gap. Here's what I should be doing. Here's what my quality and quantity looks like. And we can now set you up to get through this time without tearing your hair out. So I want you to be excited about taking this on. I have set you up as much as possible with a bunch of tools. Like I said, you're going to get a bunch of resources and videos to walk you through that process and help you kind of gain the understanding of what you need in order to now create this plan to get you through this time period. So that is the meat and potatoes, I guess I should say, of what we'll be actually doing this week. Now, again, if you need help, like number one, you can always reach out. So you can email me. You guys now have my number. You can text me. But the other thing I'm going to provide is on Wednesday, I'm going to pop on here again to do a live to answer any questions that you guys have. So as of Wednesday, hopefully you will have started the challenge. You will have started tracking. You're going to get in there, start this process. So I'll be here Wednesday, 5 p.m., the same time, so that I can kind of help you through. The good news is, you know, these lives, when I'm recording them, but they're also going to live in the group so that if you can't attend, you can also hear, you know, other people's questions, because I guarantee your question is probably also someone else's question. So again, that community building is going to be super important, so we can learn together and support each other. Now, the other part of the challenge, besides finding your baseline, is that I want you guys engaging, right? So I want you guys posting your food logs. Don't be embarrassed, by all means. I'll post mine in there as well. Nobody's eating perfectly. You'll see that in mine as well. The goal is to find some accountability by putting it in there, right? And helping everybody feel comfortable, like, okay, it's not just me, right? And then commenting, right? You're going to get points for all of that. So you will get rewarded also for putting yourself out there. Like, I understand it's super vulnerable, but I also know that in that vulnerability, like, we can come together and we can help each other out, right? And we can learn and grow through this process. All right. So I think that covers this first week. Remember, awareness is what we're looking for. And we want to look at, do we have a calorie gap, which I'm going to assume most of us do. We want to figure out, are we under eating? Are we overeating? Right. And we want to get just a sense of, like, well, where are we in terms of our quality of food and quantity? And then you can come excited for next week as we start to build out, okay, how then do we take what we just learned and start creating a protocol that's going to help us through the holidays and not wreck our our progress, but actually give us momentum to go forward. All right. I think that this seems to have paused on me, but are there any questions before I let you guys go and let you guys start your journey? Let's see. Any questions? Just put them into the chat there. I don't know if I feel like my Facebook got frozen here on my phone. I'll try to head in one more time. There we go. There we go. Yay, she loves all my trackers. Yes. If you're a client of mine, you know I like trackers. It's just a really great way to just create concrete data, and where you can't argue with it, right? And a lot of my work too is like taking the emotion out of what we're doing, right? Trying to just look at it more objectively and then make decisions on what needs to happen. So yay, I'm glad that people are loving the trackers. Great question. On the pictures of food, you can, if you want to do multiple meals a day, that's fine. If you want to just put like your day's worth of food, you can do that too. I'm going to let you guys do whatever easiest for you in terms of this. For your own sake, though, you're going to want to be able to see, you know, your meals. If you have like a layout type app where you can like put multiple pictures, it might be great to see like, here was day 1, here was day 2, right? And really see your food in real life. I actually really like the idea of photos, whereas tracking gives us numbers and data to work off of. Visuals are super enlightening to really see that quality and quantity coming in. So whatever is easiest for you guys, just put them in the Facebook group, because again, we want to create that accountability for ourselves and then other people, and welcome people, to kind of be in this journey together. All right. We've got meetings. Anything else before I let you guys go? Are we excited? Again, I know it could be a little overwhelming, but dive in. Again, I'll be here Wednesday to answer those questions. So, start the process. That way you can come and I can help you out live. Of course, you can email me, but I think this is a little easier and a better way to kind of get some feedback, and then everybody gets to benefit from your questions. So, yeah. Yes. So the tracker itself is going to come in an email. In fact, you're going to get one email with everything. It's going to have the tracker. It's going to I have a list here, so I didn't forget. It's going to have the tracker, a little video, how to use the tracker. I gave you the link to that calorie calculator in the email as well. The app that you can use to actually track, I gave you a link for if you have an iPhone or if you have an Android. You've got a video on tracking basics, another video on tracking tips and tricks. And then I even put in a link if you want to get a food scale, if you don't have one, a portable one, not because I want you to take it everywhere, but like we don't need big appliances, right? The one I have is foldable and it's great. You can basically just hide it in a drawer. So I have you set up with everything you should possibly need in order to start this, and it all be in one email. So I don't want you guys like having to go all kinds of different places for this. So cool. All right. I think we're good. I want to let you guys go. I don't want these to get too long so that people can get on with their evenings. Guys, I'm so excited. Please reach out if you have questions. That email is going to come out in the next 5 minutes. I'm also going to start talking with those of you who are in for working with me. So I'm excited. I will see you on Wednesday, and yeah, have a wonderful evening. Happy Monday. Bye, guys.